chilling event, one that would shock the nation and leave a permanent mark on local history. The story takes place in the Balkans, somewhere in the former Yugoslavia, at the end of 2009. It was a time of hardship, where desperation drove many to seek answers in the supernatural. Tarot readers and self-proclaimed psychics flooded television screens, preying on the weak and vulnerable, promising miracles in exchange for money. But one man saw through their deception. A war veteran named Darko, hardened by the horrors of his past, watched in silence as these frauds drained the last hope from struggling souls. Until one day, he decided that justice would no longer be left to fate. This is the story of the Tarot Trap, a tale of revenge, deception, and horror that no one saw coming. Darko, a war veteran who survived the horrors of the 1990s Yugoslav wars, is embittered by the poor socioeconomic conditions in his country. Consumed by anger, he devises a brutal plan to punish a group of so-called tarot masters, TV psychics who exploit desperate and naive people for profit. As an early retiree, Darko spends a lot of time watching television out of boredom. He notices numerous TV channels featuring tarot readers who claim to predict people's futures, remove curses, heal illnesses, and solve financial problems. These shows profit from paid call-ins, but in fine print at the bottom of the screen, it states that the program is for entertainment purposes only. This disclaimer absolves the broadcasters of responsibility, shifting the blame onto the callers for believing in the scam. Darko watches these shows for months, his fury growing as he empathizes with the vulnerable people being manipulated and deceived. Eventually, he decides that someone must put an end to this fraud, and he hatches a meticulous plan to lure as many of these psychics into a trap. He begins calling the shows, pretending to seek help for a fabricated problem. Over time, he establishes personal contact with several tarot readers outside the TV programs. Each of them offers him exclusive private sessions, promising to completely rid him of his supposed troubles, for a hefty price, of course. Darko, who receives a good veteran's pension and earns extra money as a driver, strategically decides to play along. He willingly pays large sums for multiple sessions, even giving them generous tips to appear like the perfect gullible client. The psychics, blinded by greed, eagerly fall for his act, unaware that the real game is being played against them. Darko is patient, methodical, and highly organized. He prepares his basement, an empty, soundproofed space, soon to become infamous as the site of something unimaginable. On the same day, he arranges for as many tarot readers as possible to visit him under the guise of an urgent spiritual cleansing session. Normally, these fraudsters don't visit clients at home, but Darko convinces them by claiming his car is broken and reminding them of his history of generous payments. One by one, they agree to come, each believing they will have a private, lucrative session with him, as always. That Friday afternoon, they begin arriving, unaware that others have also been summoned. Each visitor believes they are meeting Darko alone for another easy payday. He staggers their arrivals, scheduling them about an hour apart, just enough time to deal with each one before the next arrives. Darko watches from his window as the first psychic arrives and parks outside. He greets the guest warmly and invites them in. But as soon as they remove their coat in the hallway, Darko swiftly injects them in the neck with a potent sedative. Within seconds, they collapse. He binds them tightly with rope, tapes their mouths shut, and drags them into the basement. He then takes their car keys and phone, drives their vehicle to a secluded lakeside area, destroys the phone, and tosses it into the water. One by one, he repeats this process throughout the evening, systematically capturing his prey. By nightfall, 10 tarot readers, 6 men and 4 women, are bound and terrified in his basement, their fates sealed. When they regain consciousness, they find themselves immobilized on the cold floor, fear and confusion in their eyes. Darko stands before them, smiling. "What's wrong, tarot masters? Didn't see this coming, did you?" he sneers. "Well, it's time for someone to settle the bill." The captives are paralyzed with terror. Still groggy from the sedatives, they can do nothing but pray that this is some kind of nightmare. But Darko assures them, this is very real. His basement is soundproofed, locked, and he is armed. Escape is impossible. He rips the tape from their mouths, eager to hear what they have to say. To make the ordeal even more terrifying, he has set up a VHS camera to record everything. "What's the matter? Camera bothering you?" he mocks. "Funny, I don't remember you having any problem deceiving people on live television. The only difference is, this time, you're going to tell the truth." As their punishment, he orders each of them to confess on camera, admitting they are frauds and apologizing to the countless people they have deceived. In tears and desperation, they all comply, confessing that their entire act was nothing but a scam, that they only told callers what they wanted to hear, and that they never had any real abilities. But Darko isn't finished. Next, he hands them tarot cards and tells them to predict their own fates. Terrified, but clinging to a sliver of hope that this is just another humiliation ritual, they reluctantly comply. However, what they don't know is that all the cards in the deck are identical, the death card featuring a skeleton. As Darko flips each card, revealing the same grim symbol over and over, the realization dawns on them. Their fate has already been decided. Darko erupts in laughter. "Sorry guys, but I can't change what the cards have foretold." With that, he tapes their mouths shut again and prepares for the final act. That night, Darko drives them to the highest mountain in the region. At its peak, hidden among the rocks, lies a small cave that only few people know about. He forces them inside at gunpoint, making them sit in a circle. Their bodies are weak, motionless, dazed. They cannot resist. Darko binds them all together with a long rope, tightening it with precision, ensuring there is no possible escape. The cave's entrance is narrow, just large enough for one person to pass through at a time. Darko has already planned for this. He piles rocks and branches near the entrance, making it appear as if the cave is nothing more than a natural formation. Then, before sealing it completely, he pulls out a bengalka, a red smoke torch often used by soccer fans. He tosses it inside. The cave quickly fills with thick, suffocating red smoke. The captives cough and struggle, but the bindings hold them in place. Within minutes, the toxic fumes steal their last breaths. The red smoke rises through the cracks of the cave, an eerie, ghostly signal of the horror that just unfolded. But at 2 a.m., the town below is asleep. No one is there to see it. No one is coming to save them. Darko leaves the mountain silently. Before going home, he drops the VHS tape at the doorstep of the TV station. The next morning, the footage makes headlines. Police quickly track him down using the fingerprints he left on the tape. He is arrested, but he never reveals what truly happened to the captives. A year later, a group of hikers stumbles upon the concealed cave. Their curiosity leads them to break through the blocked entrance. Inside, they find the skeletal remains of the victims, bound together in a haunting circle. By then, Darko is already serving a life sentence. When reporters ask him why he did it, he simply smirks and says, "It's very simple. What goes around comes around. They knew what they were doing wasn't right. Someone had to teach them a lesson." After this event, all TV stations decided to shut down these types of tarot shows. No one wanted to be a tarot master anymore, not only in his country, but across the entire region.